Now there's something I wanted us to talk about. Rather, just wanted to talk about. My friends are always coming to me and then they're always telling me they have a problem with saying no. And it's a very big thing and it's a small word, but it's a two-letter word, but it's a big deal for most of the people. You find that, let's take for example, I don't know where to start from. Okay, let's start from a relationship basis. Your girlfriend comes and tells you, hey, whatever thing he calls you, she calls you or Rama, he calls you. And then you like, I need this favor. And then you really can't afford the favor, but you also don't want to turn them down. So what happens is you just will be like, okay, all right, yes. You see, it, and you find yourself compromising, and in the long run, it's going to inconvenience you. Let me tell you guys a story. So there's this friend of mine. Is like, so we were in campus together, and he's also been my friend from high school. So it's like, bro, I loan my friends money and then they don't return the money. And I'm like, how do I deal with that? And I'm like, the first thing you tell them is no. Whether you have the money or you don't have the money, just tell them no. It's better to act poor than to please people. So the first medicine is, let's say a friend comes to you and tells you they want money. Tell them you don't have the money, but if let's say it's okay, the campus setup is always a thousand bob and below. Huku nje sijui mnakopeshananga pesa ngapi. So let's say it's somebody calls you and says, I want 1,000 bob from you. What do? I'll be like, you should be like, no, I don't really have 1,000 bob right now, but I have 200 bob. I hope it might be of help. So the 200 bob, if you're willing to give it away, that means you're going to give it away for free. So it's like, okay, fine, bro, I don't have a lot of money, but then just have that one. That is what I had. So it saves you 800 bob that will not be returned. Okay, I've also maybe been a victim of loaning people money and not getting it back. So that is why I'm just telling people to watch out for it. You're lighting a coffee.
Fit.
Coffee.
Fit.
So I'm just telling people to watch out for it. So let's look at another example. Your boyfriend comes and tells you, hey baby, I want 3,000 bob, 5,000 bob. Probably we never return the money. So that one is on your relationship basis, terms and conditions that you will decide to give them the money or not give them the money. Kama mnarudishananga mpeange, kama mrudishanangi, then it becomes a problem. But then let's look at another scenario, which made me really want to do this content. It's about kids, because lately I'm very interested in kids and family. Make sure the camera is pointed at me, my face. Okay, so me just giving instructions to my producer. So let's take, for example, I always wonder when people tell me that my kid has broken my phone and I don't have a phone because my kid threw my phone in water, and I'm always like, bro, what was your kid doing with your phone? I know parents these days have this tendency of giving the kids away the phone for purposes of entertainment and distracting them. And I understand, but this gives me another question of also, what age is appropriate to give your kids the phone, because you don't want them hooked so much to the phone. But then you also have to balance their life between screens and playing outside and just going and getting hurt and coming back to nurse their injuries. Okay, maybe that is how we grew up. I don't know if that still happens or applies today. Yeah, and so you find that most parents, especially the young parents, even the older parents, don't know how to say no to their kids. And it's a very dangerous thing, because you don't get everything you want all the time. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't. Even in real life, you realize that you'll get sometimes you won't get. So the interesting thing is, I wonder how parents can't just say no to their kids and compromise themselves just for the kids. I always think there's a line between I always ask people, so if your kid is that stubborn and like that, so who is the parent? Who is parenting who? So who is the older person in that relationship and who is the younger person? Because you can't tell me a kid is going to control you as a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old person. You see, and I think this one comes from the point where we were sold this lie as we were growing up, that now because we lacked, or because you lacked from your background, you want to give your kids the best. It's okay. Everybody wants to give their kids the best. But there's a downside to it. If you look around, all the kids, not all the kids, because there's always an exception. Most of the kids that were given the best lives, if you look at them in real life, it's very hard for them to cope. I'm having a discussion with my friends, Akina Siso, Akina Dixon, Akina Vini, and you're like, bro, coming from not from what is this soft word you guys call it? I don't know, but from the poor background. What is the other name for that? Humble. Oh, the humble background. The nice word, the nice soft word you guys use for it. But coming from a poor background, I think most guys and most ladies learned to be very hard people, learned to be go-getters, and they work so hard even in real life. And I always give people examples of the politicians, the most successful people. They are successful because they came from what it meant not to know, and now they know what it means to have, and they always get it most of the time wrong with their parenting, because they have all they ever wanted in life, they give their kids all they ever lacked. And there's a distinct line where now they can't balance giving the kid the best life and parenting them into responsible adults. You see, and it's a very interesting topic for me, because you find that most of the people, even who are my friends, who most of them grew up having everything they wanted, ikikuja kwa real life wanalemewa kidogo wanalemewa. But then sisi who grew up with from the other side of the world, it's always very easy. You can always find and navigate. So let's take for example, you can go out, figure out something. Huwezi learn as they always say. So you can always figure out something to do and what to get. And I always say, like the other time I said, raise your kids like, if you're in the middle class or the rich, raise your kids like the poor, because you are raised probably by those poor people, poor parents, poor villagers, but then they brought out the best out of you. So I think it's a good way, it's a very nice way of parenting. You parent your way as the poor. That doesn't mean you don't take them to good schools, you don't give them what they want, you don't the basic needs and stuff. Yeah, so as parents, I think you guys should learn to tell your kids no sometimes, because this other time I'm with one of my uncles and my aunts, and they're in distant relationships. And one time the other visits the other with the kid, and he's like, the kid when he's with me is very different when he's with the mother. When they go to a supermarket, the kid wants everything with the mother. But when he's with the kid is just content with whatever thing the daddy will pick, one thing she'll pick, and then that is what daddy will go with. But then most of the time you'll find that is not what happens. You'll find kids crying and rolling down in supermarkets because they want everything, or because they have not gotten what they wanted. So I think it's a very big issue and a big topic of discussion that we should be having. And even in real life, people really don't know how to say no. Saying no, just, okay, the first thing somebody asks me about saying no, I'm like, just say no. If you say no 5 times and you kila siku umesema no, you'll just find yourself always saying no, and there's no big deal with it. You'll just be learning, and sometimes even just say even no, even if you'll say yes, even if you'll compromise later. Yeah, because it's very interesting, and sometimes it doesn't have to put you in uncomfortable situations, but at the end of the day unajipata you don't compromise yourself so much. Anyway, I can't really go on so well because my mic is broken, but I'm working on it. I don't know if the sound is good or anything, but I'm working on it, so I'll have to cut for now. But the conversation is a very big one, and I hope to have it with the panel some other time.